all the card will be built as big fights, the biggest fights between Japan and Mexico.
I think so. I think me against Inoue would definitely be, if not one of the biggest fights in the lower weight divisions.
Turki Alalshikh has been linked to plans for a potential Naoya Inoue versus Jesse Bam Rodriguez super fight, targeted for January in Japan.
December we have Inoue.
Yeah.
We are thinking now we are close to finish.
Meanwhile, Bam Rodriguez made it clear that the location didn't matter. Bam welcomed the idea of fighting in Japan, but also appreciated his support in the United States. In the end, Rodriguez focused only on making the fight happen.
I really don't care where it is. I love going to Japan anyway, so if I were to fight out there for the first time, that would be great. But like you said, if it's in the United States, that's great as well, just because there's a lot of Mexican-American fans that will support. So I mean, it is what it is. Wherever the fight ends up being, I don't care as long as the fight happens.
On the other hand, Naoya Inoue expressed doubt about the matchup when reflecting on Rodriguez. Inoue pointed out that he had watched Bam before, but didn't see the fight as realistic at this stage.
まあ見たことありますけどね。
I've seen him fight before.
まあ今は現実的ではないから。
I don't think it's realistic at this point.
Bam Rodriguez kept his mindset simple and direct. Bam made it clear it didn't matter who he faced, where it happened, or when it was scheduled. Rodriguez focused only on the fight itself, willing to accept any opponent put in front of him.
I mean, it really doesn't matter to me. I don't care who I fight, where I fight, when I fight. I just like fighting, and whoever they put in front of me, I'm gonna say yes.
Naoya Inoue acknowledged Bam Rodriguez as an interesting matchup, but didn't view it as realistic at the moment. Inoue said it could only happen if timing and weight aligned, but his focus stayed on his own path while respecting Bam as a fighter.
これバムですね。わかる。ファン？いや別にファンではない。面白い面白い。バムの試合面白い。まあ階級が合えばバムが上げてきてタイミングが合えばもちろんそれは興味はあります。でも自分はバムの試合は好きですよ。
On the other hand, Eddie Hearn revealed that early talks had taken place with Turki Alalshikh about a Naoya Inoue versus Jesse Bam Rodriguez fight and viewed it as inevitable. Hearn explained it likely wouldn't follow Bam's next bout, but could happen within 2 or 3 fights. Eddie added that while Rodriguez welcomed the idea, Bam remained focused on his upcoming 3rd division title fight first.
There has been some early preliminary conversations with His Excellency about Inoue against Bam, and I do think that fight is inevitable. I don't think it's going to be necessarily straight after the Vargas fight, but it could be as quick as in the next 2 or 3 fights. It's probably one of the biggest fights in boxing. It's one that Bam likes the idea of, but first things first, the 3rd Division Championship on June 13th.
However, Robert Garcia believed Rodriguez could make a fight with Naoya Inoue happen. Garcia focused on Bam's upcoming test at a 118 on June 13 as the priority. Robert acknowledged growing interest in the matchup, but stressed a step-by-step approach, with Rodriguez needing to handle the current fight first.
You gotta do it. You gotta have it.
Look, the thing is that I think I have the fighter that I know could do it. I have the fighter, but we got one fight going. We have a fight. We have a test at 118, June 13. So after that, can we make it happen? 100%. Bro, you seen this morning, I was getting so many messages already from people overseas, already talking about it.
Important people, yeah.
So the fight, I think the fight will happen, but step by step, we have this challenge ahead of us first. We can't disrespect Vargas and already make plans when we still have a big challenge at a different weight class too. So
yeah,
we have to test waters there first.
Furthermore, Robert Garcia added that Rodriguez and Naoya Inoue both started at 108. Garcia said Inoue matured earlier, which led to his move up in weight rather than a big size difference. Robert explained Inoue fighting at 122 was more about development than being much bigger than Bam. Garcia added that if both stay active, a fight could still happen in the future, possibly even at 126.
With Inoue and Bam, they both started at 108. They both, it's just that Inoue's a little bit older. He's matured a little bit more body-wise and everything. That's why he's fighting at 122. Not because he's a lot bigger than Bam. I think we're maybe 2-3 years from maybe if Inoue is still, if he's still fighting and if he's still around there, maybe even at 126. in the near future. They are not far.
Radio Raheem opposed a Naoya Inoue versus Jesse Bam Rodriguez fight, saying Bam is too small and the matchup shouldn't happen. Raheem felt it would be one-sided and unnecessary, arguing both fighters should stay in their own weight classes and continue developing without forcing the fight. He added that there was already enough elite boxing available without creating mismatches.
I love Bam Rodriguez. I don't want to see this fight. He's too small. He's going to get washed by Inoue, and it will be devastating to watch because it's a fight that shouldn't even be happening. And yes, I know all this like climbing weight divisions, jumping weight divisions, Crawford, all this, like it's all happening. His Excellency is already trying to puppet string this shit. No, man. No, it's not right. We're not that thirsty. There's enough high-level boxing for this to happen. Let Inoue get older and somehow at some point, hopefully weaker. Let maybe Bam, if it's gonna happen at some point, naturally get bigger. If this fight were to ever happen, which I don't ever need to see it. Bam is in his own lane, bro. He's in literally his own weight class, which he just elevated. Like this is a fight that they're forcing to happen. And it ain't a fight that needs to happen.
Furthermore, Raheem also stated that a Naoya Inoue versus Jesse Bam Rodriguez fight wasn't the right matchup at this time. Raheem added that Bam shouldn't be put in with the version of Inoue seen recently.
Not only is this not a right fight, it's not a right fight at this time. Something has to change. Bam Rodriguez today should not go in there with the Inoue we saw last night.
However, Max Kellerman also explained that Naoya Inoue and Jesse Bam Rodriguez were fighters people naturally wanted to watch, similar to the appeal of Pacquiao and Mayweather during their era. Kellerman noted that Bam stood out as someone who looked different from others in the sport. However, he pointed out that Rodriguez's shorter height and reach were clear disadvantages against Inoue, who held a physical edge.
Inoue and Bam are different when you put your eyes on them.
Nice.
Yes. The reason people wanted to see Pacquiao and Mayweather fight, well, they both demoed Hatton and Cotto, right?
Right.
But it was also when you watched them, you were watching something that was different than everyone else in the sport.
Stood apart.
Yes.
Bam is one of those guys, and if not for the fact that he's short with a short reach, I would take him against the monster. However, the fact is he is short with a short reach, and the monster is a lot.
Max Kellerman also compared Jesse Bam Rodriguez's presence to rare fighters like Roy Jones Jr. in his prime, saying Bam had that electric quality. Kellerman highlighted Bam's fast hands, strong technique, real world-class punching power, and good speed.
Some dudes had, like Roy Jones Jr. in his prime is the ultimate. He's got the glow.
Yeah, he did.
Right? He's like, he got some, and some guys had that electric stuff. Bam's got that.
Yes.
He's got that, and he's got the hands, the feet, as you said, the technique. I think he does have real punching power. It's not Inoue,
Yes.
but whose is.
It's world class.
He's got speed.
On the other hand, Bam Rodriguez also kept his view on Naoya Inoue simple. Bam chose not to overthink it and just watched the fights as a fan. Rodriguez described Inoue as a great fighter and noted that his fights had always been exciting. In the end, Bam just sat back and enjoyed watching him box.
My left hook could go in right there.
Honestly, I don't. I just sit back and enjoy the fight. He's a great fighter. All his fights have been exciting, so I just sit back and watch and enjoy the fight.
Furthermore, Rodriguez stayed disciplined, taking fights one by one at 118. Bam tracked how he felt at the weight, knowing he would only move back to 115 if necessary. If not, Rodriguez planned to remain at a 118 and move toward the big fight everyone was talking about.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, take it fight by fight. See how I feel at 118. If I feel good and there's no need to go back to 115, then I'll just stay at 118 and work my way up to the big fight that everyone's talking about.
The analyst stated that Jesse Bam Rodriguez still needed to prove himself at 118 and 122 before any talk of beating Naoya Inoue made sense, even mentioning a possible catchweight around 120. Bam was described as a unified champion at flyweight and junior bantamweight who looked complete, with strong technique, smooth footwork, and sharp timing. However, it was noted that he lacked Inoue's explosive power and was more fluid than dynamic.
What do we all think about this?
He still has to prove himself at 118 pounds and 122 pounds before we can say, okay, maybe he can beat the monster.
Fight at a catch weight of 120 something pounds.
Exactly. But I will say this, fighting in the weight classes that he has occupied, flyweight and junior bantamweight, where he's Ring Magazine unified champion, he looks perfect. He's a complete fighter.
Yep.
You see the talent, the natural ability, you see the technique, which is textbook.
The feet.
You see some athleticism. Now he's not dynamic, explosive like Inoue, okay?
He doesn't hit as hard, you're saying.
He's fluid.
Yeah.
He's smooth with it. And it's not just the hands, it's the feet.
Yes.
And the timing is impeccable.
Meanwhile, Abner Mares highlighted Naoya Inoue versus Jesse Bam Rodriguez as the fight he wanted most. Mares viewed it as a high-level boxing matchup, comparing its potential to elite clashes from the past. Abner made it clear he would go out of his way to watch it, even traveling anywhere to see it happen.
The big one for me would probably be Inoue against Bam Rodriguez. Yeah, that's tough. That's the one I want to watch.
Yeah. That's a boxing IQ at its
That's
peak.
like Pacquiao and Mayweather. Like if they would have fought in their prime, you get me? They never did. It was not in the prime. They could still make the fight happen, but it was not in the prime. Right now, Inoue against Bam Rodriguez, brother. Man, I'll pay top dollar. I'll fly to Japan, wherever. I want to watch that.
Abner Mares noted that both fighters had shown they could take shots, pointing out Bam had been dropped in his last fight. Mares recognized Inoue's power, while also acknowledging Bam's speed and power. Abner viewed Rodriguez as the more tactical fighter, believing Bam would fight from the outside and capitalize on any mistake Inoue made.
Well, we've seen that both fighters could take shots. Obviously, we've seen Bam been knocked down in the last fight, but I see there's power on Inoue's side. There's also speed power with Bam, but you're right. I feel like Bam is more of a IQ fighter, a fighter that fights from the outside, will wait for you to make mistakes. So I think that's going to be the key. If Inoue makes a mistake, Bam is going to make him pay for it.
On the other hand, Gabriel Rosado pointed to the upside in a potential clash, believing the best of Jesse Bam Rodriguez had not been seen yet. Rosado felt a fighter like Naoya Inoue would push Bam to another level and bring out something different. At the same time, Gabriel acknowledged the danger, noting Inoue would land his shots and could even hurt Rodriguez.
And the beautiful thing about that fight is I think we still haven't seen the best of Bam. And I think a fighter as great as Inoue is just gonna bring like that different thing from Bam that we haven't seen. Because I think Inoue he's gonna get his shots, man. He might even hurt Bam.
Sean Porter leaned toward Naoya Inoue as the favorite in a potential fight with Jesse Bam Rodriguez. Porter pointed to Inoue's slight edge in age, experience, and especially physical size as key factors in the lower weight classes. He acknowledged not seeing Bam as much as Inoue, but still felt the differences were significant. In the end, Porter viewed Inoue as the betting favorite, calling it a great matchup, but noting there was still a clear gap to consider.
I think that gap in that weight, Inoue being slightly older, more experienced and things like that, I am inclined to favor Inoue in this fight, even though I haven't seen as much Inoue as I've seen Bam. But the reason why I favor is because the age gap, the size gap. That's big for the little guys. And Inoue is a monster. He's a monster. So I think that Inoue would be the favorite in on the betting odds and the blah 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 blah. And it's a hell of a fight, but I just feel like there's a gap there.
Meanwhile, Andy Rozier also stated that everyone is waiting for a Naoya Inoue versus Bam Rodriguez fight. Rozier praised Robert Garcia and Bam's team for their work with him. He suggested Rodriguez should adjust to the new weight class first, instead of jumping straight into a dangerous matchup. Rozier described Inoue as a very tough opponent.
Everyone is waiting for that fight. I think that Robert's done a fantastic job with Bam also. I mean, really. With his whole team, to tell you the truth, fantastic. I think that's going to be a good fight. I'd like to see Bam acclimate to a new weight class first instead of jumping right into that fire, because that is real fire there. I mean, you going up, that's some real smoke out of that Japanese. He's a kamikaze. He's going in with guns a-blazing. He's gonna cause a Hiroshima up in that ring.
And called the fight extremely difficult. Andy Rozier believed the fight would be competitive early unless Naoya Inoue imposed himself quickly. Rozier suggested that if Jesse Bam Rodriguez fully carried his strength and control into the new weight class, it could become too much for Inoue to handle. However, he added that if Bam successfully adjusted and showed more at the higher weight, the matchup would turn into a very interesting contest.
Your eyes, man. I think it's going to be competitive early, unless he gets in there, Bam gets in there Inoue's actual size and his ability to control that weight is just too much for him. But if Bam can, scale to that next weight class and give us more than what we thought, it'd be a very interesting fight.
That's the full picture around a potential super fight. Skill, timing, power, and plenty of debate still surrounding it. As talks and opinions continue to build, one thing stays clear. This is a matchup the boxing world keeps coming back to for a reason. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more boxing analysis just like this.